Hey there, I am Twyla Jones and I made these moon and star brushes just for you. So I'm very excited about their existence because I've always wanted to be able to add things like this with the click of a button right from Lightroom, and now you can. So the most important part about these presets is to use the plugin that comes with them. So what the plugin enables you to do is to use more than one preset at a time. So just the way Lightroom works, you're only able to add one moon or stars, or if you have the lens flares or fog, you can only add one effect. So if you use the plugin, it enables you to add stars and a moon. You could throw some sun flare in there you want. You can do whatever you want. But also, the plugin allows you to resize and rotate the objects. So that way, if the moon isn't tilted quite the way you want, you can tilt it. If it's too small for the image, you can enlarge it, or you can make it smaller. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so how you access the plugin after you have installed it is go up to File, Plugin Extras, and then click on the LLFx FX Helper. All right, and there is your plugin. This is going to do everything. And also, you're able to add the presets directly from here. If you add them from the preset folder within Lightroom, you're not able to scale them or rotate them or flip them. So you have to add from the plugin. Okay, so for this image, I want to add a sharp full moon. And then I need to determine if I want to rotate it, scale it, adjust the strength, or flip it before I add. And I don't want to do any of those things. I'm going to like this one just the way it is. So I'm going to click Add. And there's our moon. So I'm just going to drag it where I'd like it in the image, and then I'm going to adjust it. So I want to be able to see all of those great like shadows and everything, because this is what really helps this moon look real. And then I like to warm my moons up, and sometimes I add a little bit of magenta as well. And you know, now that I'm looking at this moon, I think that it could be larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm on a Mac, I'm going to hit Command tilde, and that will bring my helper back up. So that is the shortcut in case you lose it, because anytime you touch Lightroom, you're going to lose your little window. So that'll bring it right back up for you. So now I've got my little moon up here, but I think it should be bigger. So I'm going to go to Scale and type in 150. And then I'm just going to hit Update. And that has made it bigger. I mean, I guess that's fine. I guess that's big enough. I have a hard time controlling myself, wanting to make all of the moons very, very large and wanting to add way too many stars, so I have to watch myself. Anyway, I can bring down the highlights and whites if I'd like to bring out more of that detail. And I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now let's add some stars. So again, I'm hitting Command tilde to bring that window up, and then I'm just going to look for the stars that I want. We will go with the less, and I'm going to add that one. Okay, and one like really easy trick on the stars, if you want to make sure that they're only applying to the night sky and don't want to have to brush off a million stars from, you know, everywhere else they get added, like you can see them in the rainbow, and there's probably some on her body too. So I'm just selecting the stars adjustment layer, and then I'm going to go down here to range masking. I'm going to go to color. I'm going to take my dropper, and then I'm just going to choose a sample of the night sky, and then you can see all of those stars over here disappeared. So now they're only appearing on anything black, so just double check and make sure if there are any other black areas that they disappeared. Otherwise, you can just hit erase, or you can hit your option key. That will turn your brush into an eraser. I saw that one on her jeans. And then you can just quickly erase them away. All right, should we do another one? Okay. All right, so Command tilde again to bring up my helper. And then let's add a crescent moon this time. It's my favorite. And then this helper, at the time of making this video, holds on to your last measurements, and sometimes I forget this, so sometimes I end up with very enlarged stars, which look kind of strange, or I accidentally enlarge or shrink a moon or something. So just make sure to double check your settings, especially if something looks weird. That could be why. So we'll go back to, actually this one, maybe we should make a little bit smaller. So we'll go to 70 and then just hit add. And there it is. Now, if you don't like the rotation on that, we'll just bring up our helper again. And I'm going to go, let's see, negative numbers are counterclockwise. Let's see where negative 45 gets us. I think I like that a lot better. So we'll bring that up here. I'm going to bring the exposure down so it's not quite so bright. I'm going to warm it up just a little bit. And then on some of these moons, what you can do is you can add a little glow around them if you like. So I'm just going to double click on effect to reset everything. I'm going to make my brush smaller. I'm just using my bracket key on my keyboard. And let's see how this looks. So I just dotted that, and then I'm going to bring up the exposure, and then I'm just going to warm up that glow a little bit. And now I can drag my moon to the center of it. And there you have a little glow. Then we can add a few stars as well. And then remember to reset. So your rotation should be at 0. The scale is 100. And I'm going to add those stars. And then I'm going to select that pin, go to range masking color, and then just ask it to only apply to the colors in the top part of the sky. Be mindful when you're adding, if you want anything to look realistic, you're not going to see stars like in the brighter part of the sky, so you want to make sure you erase those off. And with the moons too, only if you want it to look realistic. I love things that look surreal, so like make it look crazy too, please. But when you want it to look realistic, they're usually a lot smaller in the sky. The moons are. It's always smaller than what you want it to be. I'm serious. I wanted these moons to be like 2 or 3 times larger as presets, but Alex, the creator of this magical plugin, really reined me back. So you can thank him for having usable moons for your images. All right, we'll do one more. This is shot at blue hour. I love using blue hour for all these moons. So we can do a half for this. And I usually do the soft since I'm usually shooting with a wider aperture, so it's a little bit more out of focus than the sharp moons. And then let's make Alex mad and make this one a little bit bigger. And on your vertical images, these moons might show up in a weird spot. So that one was down there in the corner. And then we need to rotate it. So I want to rotate it clockwise. So I'm going to put in a positive 45 and update. And yeah, I like that. I feel like I like a very specific tilt on my moons. And then I'm just going to bring that exposure down. So these are real moons that I photographed that the presets have been made from. So they do all have like shadows in them, you know, the shadows of the craters and all of that. So anytime you bring down the exposure, you'll be able to see a little bit more of that. I'm going to warm it up just a little bit more. Okay, and then we could add some stars to this one. So we can add stars 1, and again, right now the way Lightroom works with vertical images, it's a little silly. So we have to rotate what we're going to add. So I need to rotate these stars 90 degrees, otherwise they're not going to apply correctly. So I'm just rotating 90. My scale needs to be 100, and I'm going to add. And then we just gotta move them up here. And these are like super heavy stars. And because I've moved them so far up in the sky, they won't be applying to like anybody down here. So I don't have to brush them off of anything. And then I'm just gonna bring the exposure down on them so they're not so, whoa. All right. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I really hope that you enjoy your moon and star brushes. They were so much fun to make. I love adding them to everything. And be on the lookout for the next pack. It's birds and clouds.